I mean, I've gotten my fair share of die, faggot, die.
You're a pedophile, you're a groomer.
Detransition today and commit yourself to a life of abstinence and moral decency.
I had another criminal complaint come in the other day about my book.
I've gotten quite enough of that.
I am an author and illustrator.
I'm a best-selling author of many books.
I write books for young adults.
I'm a writer, I'm a journalist, and so many other things. The inspiration for All Boys Aren't Blue is the fact that the story that I have is a story that has always existed. It's just one that we weren't able to tell.
Flamer is a graphic novel about a kid named Aiden Navarro, who is 14 years old, and he is away at a scout camp in 1995. I think there are a lot of teenagers that are experiencing the same things that I did.
What if there was a really frank, honest, funny, informative text about relationships and sex ed designed specifically for young LGBTQ people?
I'm writing the books that, I wanted when I was a young person. I'm writing books about young gay people that are happy, that are experiencing trauma, that are finding love for the first time, falling out of love for the first time.
When Flamer first came out, I had this anxiety of like, some people I think might not like this, but this is my truth.
When I first learned about sort of the widespread opposition to We Are the Ants, things were different. Usually if a book is challenged, the book stays on the shelves and there's forms that have to be filled out and procedures that have to be followed, but books were being just pulled off the shelf immediately.
Oh, Flamer is definitely banned. It seems like every few days there's some news about a new challenge somewhere.
I just kind of thought it was gonna be like a blip on the radar. I was wrong. By the time we got to January, I had hit 21 states. We were now reaching a real crucial point of changing the direction of education in this country, changing the culture of who has the right to tell stories in this country in a very dangerous way.
Often these very stressed librarians and teachers are kind of asking for my intervention, asking if there's anything I can do. It seems to have gotten markedly worse in the last 2 years. Young LGBTQ people are real. They are here and they desperately need help.
I was coming to terms with being gay and there were no books that I could find about what it was like to be, a young gay person. And that made me believe that the only paths that were open to me as a young gay person were that I was going to die of HIV, that I was going to wind up on drugs or a prostitute. As a result of that lack of representation and not seeing myself in depression, I attempted to take my own life.
We know that young LGBTQ people have worse mental health outcomes. We know that they're more likely to self-harm.
I had a hard time dealing with my sexuality, being called a wide range of racist and homophobic slurs, and had horrible body issues. I saw myself in almost every page of this. Thank you. And messages like that really hit home because someone else was basically having a parallel experience as me at the same time that I was feeling so alone.
We don't just write these books because we just want our story out there. All of our books are the maps that lead the youth and these teens down that road. And when you take that map away from them, they wander aimlessly in this world until they are able to either find that map or, unfortunately, until the world consumes them.
I found out about my book being on the ban list in Texas first, I think. And I actually heard about it from a family member who had seen the news, was looking at the list. I think it was 850 books on that list because she was just curious. And all I could think was, what point would there be in 2022, 2021, in 20 anything to try to ban a book? My name is Mickey Kendall. I'm a writer. Growing up, there were so many books that we were supposed to read that made it very clear that Black girls didn't have a place in the conversation. And I wanted to change that. I wanted us to be able to see ourselves in the future, in the past, to imagine alternate realities, and to talk about the issues that affect us every day in real life. So when I wrote my book, Hood Feminism, I wanted to talk about race and class and feminism and how Black women are affected and Black girls are affected and Black communities are affected. But I also wanted to talk about the other communities that are part and parcel of our world, that are harmed by racism, that are harmed by other bigotry, and that feminism is not necessarily tackling those problems, even as it claims to be for all women. Many of the people who are putting books like mine on these lists have not read my book. They've not read any of the books. Or if they have read a summary of them, they haven't really engaged critically with the topic. We are telling children who may be trans, who may be non-binary, who are Black, who are Indigenous, who are Asian, that they don't have a right to exist in public if it makes white people uncomfortable with these book bans. And that is absolutely untrue. You can stop me from getting paid. You might be able to stop me from getting published by someone, but you can't stop me from speaking. You can't stop me from writing. I'm always going to be a writer. There's nothing that can stop me except death from putting words on the page.
I'm Michael Learmonth, editor-in-chief of Vice News. Too often, traditional news outlets shy away from the real stories and experiences of those living through global conflicts. Not Vice News. Our reporters are on the ground, fearlessly covering the human stories that shape our world. You and millions of others can continue to read, watch, and listen to Vice News for free. But we hope you'll consider making a one-time or ongoing contribution of any size at vice.com/contribute. Every contribution, no matter how big or small, helps support the journalism Vice News brings to you every day. Thank you.